really want to do, go for it in a way that's true and authentic and unique to you as an artist. Instead of doing lame like this, where even in this record's promotion, Tyga can't help but make it clear that he knows absolutely nothing about this era and all the musical styles that he's pulling from.
So Tyga might have dropped the worst album ever. Let's talk about it. And instead of putting myself through the torture of listening to the whole album, because I listened to a few songs and we got some things to talk about, I decided to listen to Anthony Fantano with the red flannel. Yeah, I said Fantano. And they're telling me that he gave it a nice cooking. I'd rather listen to it through this.
Yeah, hi everyone. This new Tyga Starface album, it's not music. Yeah, here we have a brand new...
Hold on, if you know Anthony Fantano, he got a series called Not Good. This is the first Not Music. So it went past Not Music. I told Fantano, it ain't official till we get the Not Good. He said, oh, you ain't getting the Not Good, you getting the Not Music. If you don't know, this album was entirely made of AI.
New record from rapper, songwriter, Tyga.
And believe it or not, I don't even believe that's the worst part of it. We'll get to it.
A guy who, across hip-hop's mainstream cultural crest in the 2010s, was buoyed by some really massive hits, but simultaneously over the course of his career failed to really forge anything that you could even say was even close to like a classic album. And
I think Tyga has been a meme rapper for the better part of his career. I think after like the Rack City stuff, by the time you get to the Go Loco music video, or the, what was that one where he was doing Mexican Face? Yeah, that was just, I've never thought Tyga was that good of a rapper. He's always felt like he's just not that great of a rapper, but this...
While Tyga is not completely forgotten in the modern hip-hop meta, that's for sure, things over the past 10 plus years have shifted within rap so radically from an aesthetic standpoint, from a musical standpoint. It's hard to imagine a place right now where a Tyga type of rapper could really succeed and thrive and grow their audience commercially, which again, I think is the reason why we haven't seen him going viral in recent years like we have in the past. I mean, if Tyga had to start today, I don't know if a song like Rack City would really take off. So from a commercial standpoint, I personally, as a critic, am not surprised to find, and certainly don't begrudge Tyga, the feeling or the itching, burning desire to maybe switch things up and try something new, because no matter what genre you operate in order to stay on top in the music industry, especially long term, eventually you've got to switch it up. You've got to evolve.
And here's the thing that's crazy. All he did was that Phoenix Flexing dude who got caught using AI, he just did that. He just did that. Basically what this album, Starface, is Tory Lanez Alone at Prom, only the person can't sing, the mixes are way more terrible, and he also raps worse than Tory Lanez. So basically, if you don't like Tory Lanez Alone at Prom, or you do like it, you basically can't like this. It's just a worse version. It's the AI prompt clearly was Tory Lanez Alone at Prom. Alone at Prom. He even has the same wig. The same wig. That was where I was like, yo, so not only did you use AI, but you used AI to bite a nigga? That's why and I know AI, you know, usually uses other people's stuff to make stuff, but it's like, it never has it been so obvious to me where I go, nigga, you just mixed, you're just doing that. A worse version of that. Big announcement. And ladies and gentlemen, the Hip Hop is a Sport tournament is here. This is how you join. We got day 4. Already got a few spots filled up. We're filled up all the way to day 4. We're doing this for like 7 days. Keep submitting. You'll have till the 17th as of right now, but I might push it a little bit later. Just send it 35. If you want to know how to join, read all this, or go to my community tab, and this poster is right up there. So let's get back to this.
You've got to change with the times. And maybe on some level, Tyga has been struggling with that answer as to what to do next. But I think recently he discovered
Anthony kind of softballed him. He being nice a little bit in the beginning.
Exactly what he wants to do. The solution, as it were, came in the form, I presume, of a song that not only has been going viral on the internet, but actually climbed climbing the charts in recent weeks too. That would be the new Phoenix Flexin track, Rubbers. A very odd song from this West Coast artist who at one point was mostly known for his involvement with the rap group Shoreline Mafia. But with this solo track, Phoenix was doing nothing of the sort in terms of, that group's typical style, which is typically this very kind of anxious, intense take on trap music, hyphy, and gangster rap. But no, Phoenix Flexin's Rubbers actually embraces a little bit more of a mystical, dazzling 80s synth pop sound, which
And my question is, why are all y'all who's doing the AI shit just doing 80s synth pop? Well, why is, like, are niggas that unoriginal? It's weird. So, like, AI music is already cheating. But why would you then need to copy that's, oh my God, that is so many levels of garbage, nigga. If having a ghostwriter is bad, nigga, having AI be your ghostwriter and you not writing, these niggas aren't writing their lyrics, bro. These niggas aren't even singing the song. They're damn near not doing anything. Some of these people are literally just having prompts sound like them. And then they're just performing it.
Obviously took a lot of longtime fans and now a lot of new listeners as well by complete surprise, because again, this is not his usual thing. So of course, some skeptics started coming around wondering what exactly was the source of this sonic shift, especially given the vocals on the track sound almost nothing like any vocal Phoenix has laid onto any song previously. Now, of course, very quickly, allegations of this song being AI generated began to crop up.
See, Fantano slow walking you. He telling you the whole story, catching you up. In case, because I haven't really been talking about this Phoenix Flexing on my page. I haven't really been talking about any of this stuff on my page. So this is like a good rundown of everything that's been happening. But to get the not music, oh, I need to see this.
And for weeks and weeks and weeks from Phoenix and his collaborators, we saw denial after denial, explanation after explanation as to why the AI allegations were false. But after more allegations, more digging, and even some exposure, eventually Phoenix did come around and admit AI was actually used in the...
We got him. We fucking got him.
Process of generating Rubbers. And given the lack of transparency we have seen about that up until now, it's probably more AI than even now he is letting on.
Of course,
but while
100%.
Phoenix was...
By the way, he's been outed a long time. I don't know if Fantano's seen this, but odds are, and I'll put my money that the 90% of that's AI. He didn't write anything. He didn't do anything. That's not his voice. That's just an interpolation of his voice or a filter they put. He didn't write any of it, because they've actually outed out where somebody went and did the AI thing, and it was writing lyrics and sounding one like Prince, but exactly like Phoenix Flexing's exact lyrics.
Was struggling, trying to figure out his next move and how exactly he was going to spin this whole...
Drake, I blame you, nigga, for the Tupac Snoop shit.
Whole AI thing. Clearly, Tyga was silently plotting behind the scenes, figuring out how he could, one, also put out some AI music that would climb the charts, and two, maybe base a whole album cycle around it too, which he very clearly has. Now, since the release of this record, it has come out that Tyga did actually use AI in the creative...
Pitchfork gave it a 0 out of 0. Now, Pitchfork reviews are usually doo-doo, and I don't really take them as an authority in music, but that's just hilarious.
Process. But even he was not completely honest with this fact out of the gate with this Starface record. And while we don't have full details on that yet, personally, I'm inclined to believe that it's probably more than he's willing to let on, just like Phoenix. In fact, there are elements of the 10 tracks on this album that lead me to believe that they are entirely wholly AI generated, which I will get into, but first, let me say this. Presuming charitably that this album was only 25% AI generated, and quantify that however you want, the fact still remains that this record serves as an example of the most disgusting and annoying and cynical use case for this technology. Insofar...
And the music is just bad. AI or no AI, the music just bad, bro. The music, I literally listened to 2 songs. I went, wait, these mixes aren't even good. These mixes are garbage. I was like, yeah, nigga, this, ugh.
Far as using it to just generate music and upload it to the internet. Because here you have an artist who clearly is at a complete loss as to what to do in terms of the next step of his career. And so what does he do? He just looks at the charts and picks the one thing that stands out in terms of a new direction or trend or sound that's grabbing some people's.
But I feel like Tyga's been doing this for a while. He's been trend chasing with I just sees what's the meta and does that. Like, I just feel like that. I feel like Tyga's been creatively bankrupt for the majority of his career, bro.
Ears, and then heads to,
and I'm talking pre-Rack City,
what is essentially a musical Xerox, and just pumps out 10 random, low-grade, low-effort songs and just plops it onto streaming. Like, literally the act of treating music purely like a commodity, purely like a product, a commercial product, like a consumable, flavorless, industrial goop that you just package and put on the store shelf for a super cheap price so as many people buy it as possible.
Talk to him! Put a beat behind Anthony next time. When the red flannel come out, oh, he about to walk something down.
This album is the reduction of the artistic, of the creative process, simply down to that. It's a simple cliche formula followed by a machine and then has Tyga's name slapped on top of it, except not really, because in order to justify this genre shift, Tyga came up with this whole different persona, this Starface persona. Not
Tory Lanez, Alone at Prom. Like, why is nobody saying? I mean, I feel like a few people say, but why are we not just saying, even if this wasn't AI, nigga, this is just a worst version of Tory Lanez Alone at Prom. And that's not even my type of music. So I'm not even saying that that's the greatest album. But this is almost, I'm not going to lie to you, this is the closest that I have found to objectively bad music. This is the closest. And I have a take on music where I do think to a point there is objectively good and bad music. I don't be believing when everybody says, it's in the eye of the beholder, because there's certain things that we all know, right? And if you like it, it's not because of the music. So, like, this is almost objective trash. And if you like this, it's not because of the music, nigga. It's not because of the music. Like, I found one person who likes it, but I don't believe he actually likes it. I think that nigga just a contrarian.
Only in order to sell people on this musical change here, but also, I think, to give himself personally a bit of a degree of separation, because really, truly, how much of him is actually going into this project? Literally. Let's get into the sound and direction of this album, though. Look, this is essentially the record that you would be handed if you went into any generative music platform and typed in the term 80s with a bunch of other tags and just repeated that process over and over and over and.
Well, that's what I was saying too, is like, if you find yourself liking this music, I go, so then why don't you actually just listen to 80s pop? This is quite literally just a absolutely bastardized version of it. I don't even understand. So what is the appeal of this? If you're not usually listening to 80s synth pop in your real life, which you're not, then why are you, like, I don't even get it. You're trying to like this. Like, nigga, this is not even the genre of music you play. How much 80s synth pop do you play on a given day? And then all of a sudden, nigga, this shit is, so you want to play the worst version of it? Nah, nigga, this shit's ass.
Over. Because as somebody who actually loves and is passionate about.
Now, let me say this. Even though Phoenix Flexing was AI too, and he a liar, and he got caught, and it's hilarious that he got caught, and I heard he had to cancel 4 shows. I don't know if it's whatever. That Rubber song is better than anything, any of the 2 songs I heard on this. Way better. And they're all AI, so they all get thrown in that. But it's better than this. This shit is, at least that Phoenix Flexing song sound like it's kind of mixed.
A lot of 80s music. There's no real one direction or sound or style or influence that is kind of like a continuous thread through all of these songs. This is a record that would only feel consistent and would only feel thematic to you if you were looking at the 80s from a bird's eye view. Maybe even.
Exactly. So it's basically like 80s. It's basically like 80s pop from a nigga who doesn't know 80s pop, a nigga who's not connected to 80s pop in any way, a nigga who was probably born in the 90s, like a nigga who didn't listen to it, a nigga did. This is to me like when this would be like a white racist who doesn't like black people making rap, aka hip hop.
Even from a lack of experience. Like you didn't live through any segment of 80s music at all. So to you, yeah, maybe at a distance, contemporary.
This nigga's connection to 80s music is Vice City. That's why his music is just like, nigga, this is just what, like you just went and just, oh, it sounds like Vice City. That's your connection to 80s.
R&B and synth funk and synth pop and new jack swing and new wave and freestyle. Maybe all of these genres sound the same to you because, again, these were all sounds and styles that were prevalent throughout the 1980s. And if you lived during that time, all of these genres were very distinct movements that were super separate, for the most part separate, and had very distinct pioneers and artists that were at the forefronts of these movements. And through Tyga releasing this album that is just this complete mishmash of ill-defined 80s slop, it's sort of...
Anthony Fantano has a way of digging the dagger in, but the way he breaks down music and is like a reviewer, a critic, so he'll walk you down with the hi-hats and tell you how they off, like, but just know as an artist, he's putting the ice pick in.
Creates this closed loop where the reference...
He basically said, do you even 80s synth pop? That's what he said.
Points are kind of scuffed, and you're not actually doing this out of celebration or out of adoration for the artists who created these sounds and styles in the first place. Instead, what you end up getting is a series of tracks that have no consistency, no vision, no direction, and just sound like watered-down versions of the most popular, most accessible things that sort of represent that era musically.
Preach.
So you have songs on this thing that sound like a much worse version of like a Prince hit or two. Exactly. Almost like you took Steve Lacy and...
That's why I said what audience is this album for? Because I go like, why would you listen to this when Prince exists? This is just I even said, why listen to this when Alone at Prom exists? I can't understand that. That just came out, like not that long ago, not Prince long ago, but it's like, huh? And maybe you don't like Tory Lanez, cool. But why would you listen to this? You like Tyga? You better read up on what happened with Kylie, nigga.
And at gunpoint forced him to record 3, 4, 5 Prince ripoffs in the studio. You've got tracks on this thing where the synths and bass lines feel like a blatant Rick James ripoff. And if you're at all familiar with 80s hits, or especially like novelty 80s hits.
And what makes that so disgusting is if you remember niggas like Prince and Rick James, they were the most, especially Prince. Prince said this would happen. Prince said this moment would happen. Niggas are digging or robbing his grave. That's why he changed his name to the symbol. Prince said, nigga, one day they gonna not need the artist, nigga. And the fact that you're doing this off Prince prompts just makes it so disgusting. Because him of all people, would take Prince. If Prince was alive and heard this, Prince would have spun on a nigga and buried him in the waters of Lake Minnetonka, nigga. Are you serious?
You know how weird and corny anomalies like Eddie Murphy's Party All the Time are, and yet so much of the material on this album feels like an even weaker version of that. Not to mention on...
This nigga said, yo album songs like, my girl wants to party, a weaker version? Nigga, he bombing on this nigga.
At least several songs here, I'm kind of getting big Rockwell, Somebody's Watching Me vibes too. It feels like whatever AI Tyga used to generate the production on this record was just trained on a sampler of like the biggest 80s hits, and that's it. So like, not only is the vagueness, the lack of specificity in terms of how this record approaches 80s vibes kind of a tell in terms of it being AI, but also consistently across this record, you have these like kind of scratchy, scuffed vocals where it sounds like on song after song, the highs have been like kind of rolled off, like the treble is super low, and
the mixes are bad. Thank you. That's what I was saying. The mixes are bad. I literally listened to 2 songs and I listened to the first song, I went, wait a minute. Everybody talking about the AI. Why is nobody talking about these mixes are terrible? Why is AI mixing this so bad? I was like, some of this shit sounds tinny. Some of this shit, I was like, yo, Tyga, you could have just sent me the vocals. I would have gave you a better mix. I promise you. What?
Vocals are a little muddy, which is an effect I imagine kind of comes by way of these programs being trained on so much older music where the production and recordings aren't so clear. And there is kind of a vintage scratchiness and dustiness.
So they tried to replicate the vintage sound, and it ended up just being bad mix, because that's what it translates in 2026 when a robot's trying to get it.
To the way some of the instrumentation, especially the vocals, sound, but then to hear that carry over onto these modern iterations of these styles through these generated pieces of music, it just feels very out of place, anachronistic. Not only that, but there are like some very weird, off-putting production choices that just don't really make sense. Like basic engineering shit that just would not come up on an album like this for a few reasons. One being that any producer or engineer...
Yeah, now he getting to cooking the AI engineer. He cooking niggas in sections. Let me give you the intro, the preamble. Now I'm finna cook Tyga's boots. Now come here, AI engineer. You getting cooked too. This is chapters. Nigga, chapter 3, the AI engineer is getting chefed.
Who can genuinely recreate these kind of vintage 80s vibes and sounds with the accuracy that they are shown with here, that would have to be a pretty talented, knowledgeable, veteran producer with quite a bit of experience and a good ear. Someone who probably wouldn't put out 3, 4, 5 busted ass vocal mixes or do song after song where
and the fact that he listened to the whole album and I only listened to 2 songs and clocked absolutely everything he's saying lets me know exactly how awful this album is. After the second song, I said, I'm not listening to this shit. I don't care if my video gets 800,000 thumbs up. I'm not doing this. Oh, okay. If this video gets goddamn 10,000 thumbs up, I'll do the goddamn album. 11,000. I'm just throw another 1,000. 11,000 thumbs up. I'll do the Starface album, but please don't put me to that torture.
Random drum hits and fills are like 2-3 times louder than...
That's a joke, kind of. If it does hit 11,000, I'll do it. But like, damn.
Almost anything else going
now I'm afraid I said that. Why'd I say
on in the mix? Not only that, but another tell that I would say kind of gives this album's AI generation away is, of course, the vocals. There are numerous hooks and tracks on this thing where Tyga's vocal phrasing, for somebody who is like a studied and an accomplished pop rapper who literally raps, writes, and flows purely for catchiness and accessibility, is putting out vocal line after vocal line on this record that is just painfully awkward, like leaning into certain syllables or leaving certain gaps in a line unfilled rhythmically in a way that I feel like an accomplished, successful pop rapper just wouldn't, or even a singer who saw any level of commercial success.
Damn.
Like his phrasing and the way that many of his words...
Bro, he said the way you talk was goofy. He said, I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. He said you was talking goofy in it too.
Have this sort of staccato feel, like they're a little cut off. Just feels very, I mean, for lack of a better term, robotic. It just feels like a robot version of Tyga singing and talk singing on most of these tracks, all of these tracks. Then the other thing is just how mind-numbingly repetitive lyrically a lot of these songs are, and it does not come off like, you know, a genuine human infatuation. More like, again, a robot that has been given very few shreds of information to go off of, which is why there are so many moments that are making reference to getting broken up with and counting money, counting money, counting money, counting money until you're...
If you notice, the same Phoenix Flex and Rubber's lyrics. Literally.
Our thumbs hurt. It's to the point sometimes where I have to check the track list just to make sure I'm not listening to the same song all over again. The only real sense of variation for me personally is how bad some of the mixing is. And look, while I will admit there are some choruses and there are some baseline musical elements on these tracks that are like at least accessible or kind of catchy, or I can kind of squint and see possibly in my mind's eye a catchier, more enjoyable version of what is being presented here in actuality. The fact is, even when these songs are at their most enjoyable, there's a very stiff, awkward, weird, off-putting, almost uncanny quality about them that sort of just
Nigga call this shit uncanny. He said your shit's in the uncanny valley, gang. Damn.
just makes my skin crawl and makes almost uncanny quality about them that sort of just makes my skin crawl and makes me wish I was kind of like, listening to all of the obvious reference points and inspirations. And that, I think, is the most.
That's what I said. Why would you not just listen to the actual? I don't get that. I legit, because my thing is like, okay, even with say like a Tory Lanez Alone at Prom, at least he's the one singing it. He's the one doing it. He's the one doing the music videos. So at least you go, okay, this feels like a little bit a modern aesthetic to it. The mixes are clearly better. I can see why someone will go into that and go, oh, and then that might make them go back and listen to some 80s pop. This is like the worst example of 80s pop. If you listen to this is going to run you away from it. If this is what you think it sounds like, there's no reason you would ever listen to it again. But when you go and listen to Prince, you go listen to Rick James, you go listen to those people, then you really gonna realize how bad this is.
Sad, pitiful, and unfortunate reality of
Michael, you feel me? Like, what we doing?
This situation, that there will be some people who listen to this, genuinely think it's great, and have no clue, no idea, no experience of any of the 80s artists that it's ripping off. Or hell, even the modern artists who are still like carrying the torch for sounds like this. Guys like Dame Funk, for example, who, if Tyga or any number of artists wanted to randomly make like a synth funk record, something along those lines, I mean, give that guy a call. That guy will cook you.
He would have to pay him though, and the AI is free. Or is AI is cheaper? They might be using the free version.
Up some amazing production in that style. If as an artist, that's truly the sound that you want to chase, the direction.
Come on, Fantano. You know damn well this truly wasn't the sound he was trying to chase. He don't give a damn about this sound. It was just it was the trend he was trying to chase.
That you want to go in. Call someone up, reach out, find someone.
He won't even put his actual name on it, nigga. You know damn well he don't care about this.
Buddy, collaborate, make a friend, enjoy music as the communal experience and the cultural exchange that it's supposed to be, instead of having an AI platform fart out some crap. Because again, I'm sorry, if you know or you enjoy or are passionate about anything in terms of like 80s music, and it feels like there is at least like a hunger for that in this day and age with, the resurgence of Michael Jackson's music, with, artists like The Weeknd currently thriving off of all of these.
And a lot of people say Tory Lanez Alone at Prom is just ripping off The Weeknd. So it's just like, you don't want to listen to the rip-off of the rip-off of the rip-off. That's crazy. You know what I mean?
80s vibes on his recent records. Even before Rubbers, there has been an established resurgence for this kind of vibe, this kind of sound. If it's something
shit, Lizzo made, not on the new, I haven't listened to the new album, but I feel like her music that made her big and famous was kind of in this lane too. She had a little vibes of little 80s type stuff like that, and it sounded way better, nigga.
You really want to do, go for it in a way that's true and authentic and unique to you as an artist. Instead of doing lame shit like this, where even in this record's promotion, Tyga can't help but make it clear that he knows absolutely fucking nothing about this era and all the musical styles that he's pulling from. Because again, to sort of bring it back to the Starface persona, like it's clearly built off of Scarface, because for Tyga, his personal reference point for these genres of music has more to do with like an old gangster movie than it does the music scenes from decades
Vice City
ago that they actually fucking came out of. Tyga wants people
Fantano's mad now.
To draw the same sort of cultural connections to these sounds that he does. It has nothing to do with, New York. It has nothing to do with California. It has nothing to do with Minneapolis, and has everything to do with like, dudes who were wearing fancy suits and doing cocaine in Miami in the 80s. Fuck you. So again, to close this video out, I just want to repeat what gross
at the end, he just let it go. He tried to be professional.
me out most about this record is that it's just very lazy It's very cynical, it's very opportunistic, and it highlights to us the exact kind of artist who is going to thrive most due to this technology. A boring, uncreative hack with no inspiration, no work ethic, no passion, no drive, no ideas of his own, who would rather just use a machine to steal ideas from other artists instead of daring to find a way to genuinely express himself and make music that's worth listening to. Which is why this Tyga project here is not music.
Hey, Fantano, but how do you feel about it, though? That might have been one of my favorite not goods ever. And trust me, I watch these. I binge randomly. I'll go through and just start binging his not good music reviews. But this one, not music. Tyga, you dropped some legendary doo-doo.